So the question is about the booster and sort of, what we're thinking about the booster. So let's talk about sort of timeline. Whether you get sick with COVID or whether you get a COVID vaccine, the first thing that happens is sort of the early immune systems take a little bit of time to recognize that this is not me, this is something else from outside that I need to take care of. And so what it does is after a number of days, you start producing antibodies. Antibodies are very specific for very specific types of bacteria, viruses, fungi. And what they do is they sort of attach to the outside of whatever the pathogen is. And what it does is it signals to the rest of the immune system to seek and destroy that particular virus, bacteria, whatever it is. Now, when you have an acute infection or a new vaccine, you get tons of antibodies early, and then that sort of wanes over time. You still have the ability to make these antibodies. There are cells in your body that are part of your immune system called B cells, and they're memory B cells. And so you've trained those memory B cells to say, hey, if I ever see this again, I'm going to reactivate these cells to start churning out antibodies again. Okay? However, that takes some time. And so your antibodies over time after getting your vaccine or being infected, for the first or second time, the antibodies wane, and so it takes time to turn those B cells back on. And so what the booster does is it sort of does that for you. So rather than waiting until you get infected and sort of delaying having lots of antibodies to help fight the virus, you get a booster, and that sort of reminds those B cells to say, hey, B cells, wake up, let's make some more antibodies. We have a pandemic going on. We want those antibodies at the ready now. We don't want to have to wait until you get infected. And so what it does is essentially it's just going to speed up by a couple days your immune system's ability to respond to the infection. And hopefully that couple days, that's the time period where if you waited, your likelihood of being really sick goes up a little bit. Whereas if your immune system recognizes it early, can get on top of it, this is either you being asymptomatic, maybe having a small fever, some cough, and then that being it. And so really, we're just trying to cut down on the window between being infected and mounting a response. And so that's what those boosters are doing for you.